Hello you guys, welcome back to another wine night, except again I am having coffee. I'll explain in a second. I'm in a different spot and I have been house sitting, so if you watched, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, my vlog I guess, I was house sitting and I'm here currently. So I just thought I would film a couple of things while I'm here since I don't have to do other work. So here we are. The coffee, I haven't really been having wine because I've started to try to just watch what it is that I'm eating and drinking, and wine just has unnecessary calories and I'm only trying to eat within certain time slots. So for right now, it's just one not time. I mean, for me it's 7 a.m. so I don't need wine right now, but I will be back with another like real wine night in a little bit. In the meantime, I wanted to enjoy this cup of coffee. Again, if you watched my video from like 2 weeks ago when I was dog sitting, I discovered that this coffee machine has the best coffee I've ever tasted. So I'm really enjoying that moment. I wanted to hop on today. I actually had no idea what I was going to be talking about. I've been trying to think of other ways to kind of go about vlogs and videos like this because it's really hard for me sometimes since I can't film a lot of what I'm doing, including working. I am just like working and then working on YouTube, and we can't really go outside, and then I don't really want to film with my boyfriend just because I feel bad that like if you take up the day by filming, it's like they're going to feel like you're not really there with them. I like to savor the moment. So I started thinking about like what are other ways that I could kind of do that, and I was thinking maybe I could just sit here and do recaps of my week or whatever, but also I think it's okay if inspiration just kind of sparks and I just chat. I mean, that was the whole point of wine night, was that I wanted it to feel like I'm with a friend and I call them and I'm like, oh my god, I just had this idea or this thought or whatever. What happened recently actually is basically that I was house sitting, I'm here now, and I saw a notebook that the homeowner had, and I was looking at it and like I didn't look in it. I wasn't like snooping in her notebook or anything, but just the look of the notebook. As a kid, I was so obsessed with anything stationery. Like I loved going to Office Depot more than going to Toys R Us. So stationery has always caught my eye. I'm not really sure why that is, but I was looking at this notebook and I was like, wow, that's like such a cool notebook. How can I get one? I started trying to look up where it was from. It turns out that it's like from a block away, or you can order them online, and I was like so excited. And then I was kind of realizing there are so many things that we do simply because we're influenced by other people. We have this idea that if there's a person that we really like, that if we get all of the things that they have and if we kind of mimic that style, then we will become that person in a way. But I was realizing personally, and again, this is just something that I was realizing over the weekend, and I don't know if this is very personal or if other people experience this too, which is why I wanted to talk about it. But I was realizing that slowly the things that mattered were about the person's actual personality, like how they carry themselves, how calm they are, how they act in really stressful situations, things like that, and not about the objects. But to me, mimicking the things that they had made it feel like maybe I can just achieve what it is that they act like. And this was all subconscious. This was not like an active thought of like, oh, if I just do everything they do, then I'll be that person. It was just, I think, a subconscious thing of like, oh, well, they're a really calm person and they use this type of notebook, they have this type of cell phone. Maybe that does something to them, I don't know. So as I'm realizing this, I also started realizing that there are so many instances where I'm influenced that I don't actually even know what things were my choices anymore. I was actually journaling about this, and I was realizing that the journal that I was using and the pen that I was using, I was influenced by someone I watched on YouTube to buy those things. Same with my phone case. I've been wanting a new cell phone, and my cell phone is cracked on the back, but it works, and I don't need a new cell phone. But because everyone has the newest and the greatest and the biggest, it's made me want more, and it's made me be like, oh, well, if that person has it, then it makes sense. And that's influencer 101, right? Like that's the whole point. But I was doing this with people just in my day-to-day life too. Like this homeowner that I met a couple of times. I mean, house sitting has been very interesting where I can really gather information about the person simply because I'm in their home and I'm with their dog and I can like see their life and I'm living their life. Literally, I am like another person when I'm here. But in the same way, I can't just pretend like I'm another person either, consciously or subconsciously. So I guess it started to spiral into like, so what are the choices that I would have made? Would I have bought this cell phone if it weren't for my friend going with me to T-Mobile and saying, you should totally buy this phone, I really like it, I think you'll like it too? Would I have bought this phone case? Would I have bought this camera? Would I have started YouTube? Would I have bought the journal that I have? Like, what is it that are choices that I make versus things that I'm influenced to do, and how can I actively choose more things to figure out who it is that I am at my core? Because I think personally I lose who I am at my core. Like, I want to be like this, I want to be like that, I want to be calmer in stressful situations, I want to think a little clearer, I want to not let things bother me so much. And then I see someone like, I don't know, just a person that I meet that's like seems like the calmest person, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to get everything that she has. But I also don't know her in the stressful situations, and I also don't know her in her relationships or anything like that either, so how can I make that decision? And I think it's healthy to really want to make these changes just to like better myself. Like, I don't want to be stressed out and upset or jump to conclusions when I'm in stressful situations, but also I need to learn what is me and what's okay and what I should work on and those types of things. So I guess this is really just like, I don't know, it's kind of like a journal entry in a weird way. These are the types of conversations that I would have with my friends where I'm just like, who am I and what am I being influenced to do? Like, what is the difference there? And I don't have that answer. I don't know who has that answer. I don't know if people are just confident in themselves and they know that answer, or they fake it till they make it and they act like they have that answer, and then when they come home or when they're journaling, they're like, I don't know either. So I'm trying to figure that out, I guess. But it's just something that I think I've always done. I can even think back at a time when, like, in elementary school, there was a girl who had a binder that I liked. So I bought that binder, and it was like a difference between I like that object, I want it, versus I like the way that you look with that thing in your hand and I want to look like that, so I'm gonna get that thing. And I think I need to be more accepting of the way that I look and the way, or the choices that I make, rather than making them for that reason. Does that make sense? Am I crazy? Please let me know what you guys think about this, because it's seriously something that I run into often, where I'm like, wait, what are the choices that I would have made because I'm basing this off of how someone else looks? There's not a lot else there. It's just something that like I was really thinking about this morning and just like so unsure of and like confused by. And again, it comes up pretty often. So I thought I would see if anyone else understands what I'm talking about. And I guess maybe just also realize that we don't have to act on things so quickly. Like, just because an influencer tells us to do something or to buy something, like really assess, do I need that thing in my life? Like, will that thing actually make me that much happier? Because maybe it won't, and maybe it will. Like, maybe that is a life-changing thing, like this coffee machine that I just discovered. This is seriously life-changing. But will buying that phone case that an influencer is like, oh my god, this is the best, actually make my life that much better? I don't think so. I actually have a memory of when, so a few years ago, I guess in like 2016, I bought the iPhone 7 as soon as it came out, and I told myself I'm gonna buy this one and I'm going to pay it off and I'm just gonna use it until it dies. And then what happened was, I think like 2 years later, I have a friend who I love dearly and is really great at influencing me. And he is obsessed with Apple, and he was convincing me that I really need a new phone. And at the time I was not in a very good headspace. I was just kind of bummed out about a lot of things. And he's one to have a lot of retail therapy, and I'm not typically that type of person, but I feel like I accepted that. And I was like, you know what, fine, I'm gonna go buy things. So we were at the mall and we walked by a Apple store, and at the time the iPhone XS was the new thing, and he was like, you really need this phone, I'm gonna explain to you why. He was telling me that I should get the Max, and I was like, no, I don't really need the Max because my phone is already so small and it's so much bigger than that. And I mean, now I would love to have the max, but this phone is still fine. So anyway, I remember going through this. I finally was like, okay, yes, I'm gonna do it. It's $0 down, blah, blah, blah. Asterisk, you have to add the tax. So I actually had to put down $300 in that moment. And then I like go through the whole process. I went between the Apple store and the T-Mobile store to see like who would give me a better deal, and that mall had both. And then finally I bought it and I was so excited, and I looked down at the phone and everything's imported and it's my phone. I mean, all of the information was exactly the same from the 7. All of my text messages were there. All of my apps were back in their place. My home screen was the same home screen. Like everything was already back in place. There was no setup. And I just kind of like looked at it and I was like, was this a mistake? Because my phone had been fine. And it was just such a weird moment of like, I didn't need to just spend $1,000 or get myself into more debt because of a phone. And especially when now there's no setup. I mean, I understand the convenience. It's so nice when you're just like if your phone dies sporadically and you're like, oh my God, and then you need a new phone, and if everything's back in its place, it's like, oh, this is wonderful. However, part of the fun of getting a new phone was setting it up. And so I just kind of looked at it and I was like, it's literally the exact same phone except in a different body. And it really honestly bummed me out, and that is one of the reasons why I keep convincing myself like I wanted the iPhone 11 Pro Max, whatever it's called. And I don't really like the iPhone 12. I don't like the flat sides, but I've been really wanting the iPhone 11 Pro Max, the big guy. And slowly I was realizing it's gonna be the same feeling of like, I'm gonna spend $1,000 and the phone is gonna be exactly the same, and the phone is not, it's like, it's a choice based off of how influencers have looked for the past year or two with that phone in their hands. Mirror selfies and taking photos with it and things like that, and like how the photos can be like what's that called, where it's like zoomed out. I was making the choice because of those things, and instead I was like, you know what, yeah, the phone is cracked and whatever, but like, let me show you guys, it's actually kind of funny. Can you see that? It's like all messed up. Yeah, it's cracked and whatnot, but like it works fine, and I can put that $1,000 to much better use. So yeah, these are all things that just have gotten me thinking about like, so what phone would I have chosen, or what notebook would I have chosen, and really trying to make those decisions. And same with like clothes and fashion. Like if no one's there to tell you that you're not allowed to wear a certain thing, then what would I choose to wear or not wear or whatever? Like if style wasn't a thing, what would I like? And I've just been trying to think about it that way. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. I feel like instead of wine nights, these should almost be called like journal entries or something like that, because I really feel like I just talked at you guys what I would have written in my journal. But this was really helpful, and I hope this makes sense to someone else, and maybe you guys have a similar experience. If you do, let me know, or if you don't, let me know how you don't get trapped into that, because I think a lot of us do get trapped into like, oh, that person's doing it, so I'm gonna do it too. And I would love to know those things that you do to stay strong against that, because I think that's a really cool trait that a lot of people don't have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye guys.